You're watching Midwest Lizard Mom. Crested gecko behavior. Sticky feet, walking on walls and ceilings. Arboreal geckos, such as crested geckos and chihuahuas, have feet covered in hundreds of tiny hairs called setae, which help them to stick to surfaces. Each setae has hundreds of smaller hairs, which create an electromagnetic connection to surfaces. If you look at their feet, you'll see stripes, which are rows of their setae. This is what creates an electromagnetic attraction to things, allowing them to walk on any surface they want to, including walls and ceilings, and even you. They can control when they stick or unstick to things. So if you try to pick them up and it's difficult, it's because they have chosen not to let go yet. Fired up or down, and reasons. Fired up is when a crested gecko's colors look brighter or darker due to their environment. And that can be by the humidity or heat or mood, if they're stressed or happy, or if they are feeling aggressive, or if they feel defensive. When they're fired down, their colors are more dull. This happens if it's not very humid in their enclosure, or if they're asleep, or if they're very calm. When a crested gecko is about to jump, they'll point their face in the direction that they want to go, and then they'll crouch down, lift the front of their toes slightly, and then launch themselves at whatever they're jumping at. They'll use their tail for a break. If you notice them really focusing on something, they're probably about to jump if they're squatting down. Sleeping versus awake. Crested geckos that are sleeping have droopy eyes. If you look at them, you'll notice that their eyelashes have kind of drooped down and they're partially covering their eye. Since they don't have eyelids, they won't completely shut. When they're wide awake, their eyes will be wide open and you can see their eyelashes in full. Here are some examples. Eyeball licking. Crested geckos will lick their eyeball to clean them. They have a membrane over their eye, and since they can't blink to clean it, they lick it. Crested geckos may drop their tail for many reasons. One may be defense. They may think that something is going to get them, so they drop their tail to distract a predator. They may even mistake their reflection for a predator. They may have seen the reflection and thought it was another gecko. They may have heard a loud noise, such as a vacuum cleaner, fireworks, or other animal. They may be sick, or they may have a tail rot or infection. That may sometimes be a forced tail drop. Or they might drop their tail when they're mating. If your crested gecko does drop their tail, what you'll want to do is move them to a sterile enclosure, clean their wound, and watch for an infection. Leave them alone until they've healed and they're acting like themselves. Don't try to pick them up, just leave them alone. Don't leave any uneaten food in their enclosure and no insects in their enclosure as well. You're trying to avoid an infection. Just remember, it's not your fault. Now, here is an interesting thing that I noticed when I was trying to pick up my crested gecko Menchie. She was gravid at the time, and she kind of shook her head and chirped, which she'd never done otherwise. And I think it was just because she was uncomfortable. So I don't know if this is a typical thing, but this is just something that she did. I kind of took this as her saying, no touching. She was probably very tender. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for stopping by.